This episode is brought to you by Freestyle Photographic Supply.
Today we are testing ORWO NC500 and 400 in both 35 and 16 millimeter.
I just won't tell anyone I accidentally opened up the back.
So yeah, I'm a dumb. We can all be dumb from time to time. This video was supposed to be epic. Seismic. My Dune Part 2. So I know that original Wolfen, NC400 and 500 have been around the block for a couple of moons rotations as of now, so it's not exactly new to the film game. And not to mention, I have shot NC500 before so many times. But when I got the opportunity to get my hands on some of that 16 millimeter film for both of these film stocks, like a puppy, I couldn't pass up that bone. As you may know, I love me some 16 millimeter film. I've made 2 shorts, and I've shot it extensively on this channel. So what a perfect opportunity to shoot some ORWO still film right alongside its motion picture counterpart, that sweet and sexy 16. Zzz. Does the 16 millimeter look like its 35 millimeter still brother? Or is this all just a giant waste of time? But I think I can answer that right now. It's not.
Time to go shoot again. Time to drive 5 hours to be on location for 1 hour.
First up, NC400. Same film base as 16, which makes sense, you know?
Right. Yeah. I'm an idiot. See, juggling one Leica, my production camera, and Jason's big-ass Bolex, things can get a bit tedious. And I might forget a thing or two, like the fact that, you gotta rewind the camera first before you take the film out. Yeah, I guess you get light leaks now. But also more on that later. Now recently I've been on this Julia Roberts kick. Movies like Notting Hill, Pretty Woman, and most recently, Erin Brockovich. And in this newfound love for Julia, 2 things came to light. 1, she's a total babe. And 2, most importantly, she goes to Hinkley, California in Erin Brockovich. And I so happen to live in California. So now that I'm clearly obsessed, I need to see what's the who with Hinkley. Now, if you're not familiar with that masterpiece of a film, Hinkley is known for, well, poisoning its patrons. Well, PG&E actually did that. Those bastards! I guess you just can't ever trust big corporations. But naturally, in the real world, that led a lot of people leaving town for clearer waters, leaving some buildings to be available for me to document. Getting to this first structure was a nice little warm-up for our little photography fingers. There wasn't much going on here, but a welcome slow start to me banging out some sexy leaky photos. After Jason was done taking a dump in the doorway, which he often likes to do to assert his dominance, we drove a whopping 2 minutes to another building that we had no idea existed. That would unleash gold. Not Kodak gold, but just gold. Yeah, come on, let's start. Usually when I shoot this ORWO stock, I like to shoot it at 320 ISO. One thing that I definitely noticed when it comes to the 16mm footage, I should have opened up a tad bit more. To say it plainly, this is a hungry film stock, and its food is light. But at first glance, it does got me going goo goo gaga. Now at this point, the sun was shining its sweet golden goodness onto our skins and into our lenses. And it's this one here where I'm starting to get into the groove. Obviously beside the leaks, that is.
Okay, so I finished my first roll. Nice. So I'm gonna put it back in the little baggie. Boom. Also, usually daylight spools come in like big chunky cases, so it's kind of really cute that it comes in this like little saucer of a case. It's I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. Okay, I'm gonna do NC400 still since I have it inside my Leica. I want to test apples to apples. Engage. Someone's gonna probably be like, Caleb, you're doing it wrong, but it's fine. This right here is the hardest part that I find, is just getting it to fit in that little section. Boom. Now I just need to make sure it gets on the spool properly. Disengage button. Cool. Go to frame 0. Hi, it's me.
I've been wondering.
But does taking a picture of it give you bad luck? Because unfortunately, I'm kind of getting that vibe here.
Yes, it's true. Search the whole world through and through. But flying high, I'm feeling blue. Ain't nobody please me like you do. Nobody treats me like you do. Nobody treats me quite like you. When the working day is through, I'm coming home straight back to you.
Overall, I must say, this film is quite nice. It has a bit of nostalgic character to it, but a hint of saturation that keeps it fresh. And if you think you've heard that on this channel before, you maybe have. About Color 92 from Lomo. It does feel semi-similar. We know this world is full of crazier things, like aliens, or big corporations poisoning water supplies, and the similarities between these two films could be right up there. But overall, who am I to say? I wear scarves and teeny weeny beanies on this YouTube channel. But I got a cap on right now. Usually it's beanies. And wow, this little homestead was beautiful. The wagon wheel welcoming you in. This was a fun treat.
I thought I knew a thing or two, but nobody pleased me like you do. Oh yeah.
Now, color correcting the 16mm film to match the 35 was proven to be a little harder than I thought, mostly because the conversion softwares are totally different, and because the lighting in each clip is different as well. And let's face it, I'm lazy. Unfortunately here, this is where the real casualties lie. Because I was nearing the end of the roll, that means the light leaks get even more poisonous to the film. Honestly, really only 2 of these 35mm images check out. The rest are just plagued with misfortune. Good thing the 16mm looks so yummy. A Wolfen 400 is said to be based on an old Agfa stock, you know, when they were a thing, and is uniquely balanced towards the greens, which I mean, the greens are green, but also, to be fair, the leaks also make it hard and challenging to tell. Honestly, when first converting, I felt like these films had more of a bluish tint to them overall, so who knows. But what I do know is that overall these photos balanced quite nicely, even with my mistakes. It's actually kind of interesting because I would have expected this film to have a ton more grain. Like in a bad way. You know I like grain, but you know, sometimes. But in some of these images, it's quite subdued. I mean, not the 16mm, because 16 is always a bucket of grain. Now I must tell you my true intentions. I was 100% going to lie to you. My plan was to go back to Hinkley and retake all those NC400 shots just like I was there. And I don't know, maybe just not flash my film. But in true, you cannot predict the future, maybe you should check the weather fashion. It was gray as hell out in Hinkley. So naturally, with these conditions, retaking my images in the same lighting conditions would be fruitless. And this first location was quite a treat to behold. We spotted it from the road and I'm totally glad we stopped. Hinkley is just one of those places that is an abandoned gold mine of architecture.
Whew. Just got myself a Bolex, shooting 16, shooting 35. That's all I got. That's all I'm doing. Chilling, just chilling. Yeah.
One thing that I'm definitely sure about with this NC500 stock is that in both formats, it loves the color red. Red is its mama jamma. It doesn't take much for these picnic tables to just pop harder than a pimple. Ew. No, and I'm here for it. With NC500's more desaturated nature, this red is a warm welcome. But this can't be a Badflashes episode without more of me just f***ing up some other detail in the process. You see this hardcore vignette on the side? That's because I was filter stacking with my new 28mm Voigtlander, and those filters did not cover the lens. Oh yeah, and duh Caleb, that's why the two formats didn't match at all. You have a warming filter. Sometimes you think you learn things, and then you don't. You don't. This just ain't my episode, is it? Well, as they say, the show must go on.
What if I turn this on? Do you think something bad would happen?
Now, just like shooting 16mm NC400, shooting this NC500 and color correcting it to match the 35 was still hard. But just like last time, this location was the best overall, and we didn't even know about it in the first place. I guess you always have to keep your eyes peeled open like Clockwork Orange when looking for locations. We went by an old church that we just couldn't pass up. We weren't quite sure if it was abandoned, but there were definitely some weird vibes going on. So we didn't really want to overstay our welcome. I must also say that this NC500 also does well with the color green.
You know, the hard thing right now is that it's raining and it's gray and I have color film in and it's gross. It's just like blah right now.
So unfortunately, I think I was becoming a bit loosey-goosey with checking my exposure for the Bolex. Because the one thing you can't do for this film is say, and piss into the wind. Well, maybe you should never do that in the first place. But my point is never underexpose Wolfenbanger at all. It does not handle it well. NC500 is technically a ISO 400 film. They probably should have got a little more creative with the names. So really, because of this crazy little detail, which is kind of misleading, I also rated both this 16mm and the 35mm at 320. And honestly, I could have rated it at 200.
If you ever plan on owning a Bolex yourself and using a Bolex, you better start working out now. I'm just telling you, because damn, bro, that thing is heavy.
Now I know that sometimes you can get low on photo supplies, and that is where today's sponsor comes in handy. Freestyle Photo. Freestyle has some of the best prices around when it comes to stocking up your fresh film stash with the essentials. All my 35mm ORWO film came from them, and there is plenty to go around. And not only does Freestyle have film, they have all kinds of different supplies that you might need for your creativity to blossom. If you're wanting to start developing to get a real feel for your negatives, they have a ton of supplies. If you want to get into the enlarging game or printing your photos, look no further. And if you're just addicted to film and you need to go even bigger, Freestyle is the US distributor for Intrepid large format cameras. And they're the large format camera that I use. So whether you're shopping online for some new film, or some supplies, or even some swag, Freestyle has you covered. Either visit them at their LA location or online. Okay, let's get back to some purring 16mm. Now, at this point of the journey, we had a decision to make. We could keep going, or we can turn back. This was actually a 2-day journey that we had planned, and tomorrow was fleshing out to be just as 50 Shades of Grey. But if you know either of us, you know, push on. In retrospect, it was good, because we found this little homestead off the side of the road.
But we're here. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
One thing this film is definitely not, and is not trying to be, but it is not a pro level film. 100 stops of latitude, it just ain't, which is totally fine. You just kind of have to know that going in.
And that's it. That's done. We're done. Okay? We're done. Don't have to be in the rain anymore. I really wish I would have saved a frame for this.
I want to go sit on it as a gag, but I feel like we're just gonna collapse.
That's gonna fall. You're gonna fall right in. Yeah, no. Dude, the colors are actually really good now. Like, damn it.
So yeah, I definitely want to come back here. I think a lot of my images are kind of nice from this spot, but ultimately they would be better with better lighting. Now sure, maybe this wasn't a traditional review of these film stocks, but overall I kind of enjoyed my follies. Follies. What's a foley? I don't know, folly. Overall, this 16mm film holds up quite nicely in both formats, if exposed properly. And out of the two, if I had to pick, I'd probably shoot NC400 in 16mm a bit more than I would NC500. I just prefer the colors a little bit more. But to be fair, NC500 was just shot at a really terrible time of day, and I don't think it did it justice. Hi, Post Caleb here. There's one thing that I realized while editing this whole thing back. While I was writing, I didn't expect that I underexposed the 16mm as much as I did. I knew I did a little bit while going through it, but I think I underexposed it more than I anticipated. So if I were you and you're gonna get NC500, I would definitely shoot it at like 160 or something. Maybe even try a little bit more, but 160 is probably a safe bet. I think I underexposed NC400 a tad, but that's a nicer stock overall, and you can control it a little bit more. The grain structure isn't as crazy. So that's my little postscript to you. This episode, it was fun, but it's a lot of mess uppers. That doesn't even, it's not even a word, mess uppers. But it fits, I think. Okay, back to the video. You got like 30 seconds left anyway. Now, like I stated about the 35mm still film, if you're looking for this 16mm film to be the quality of Kodak Vision line, it's just not that. Kodak is in their third iteration of their Vision film lineup, and they've been perfecting it for decades. ORWO just hasn't reached that yet. But with that said, Kodak is like the only player in the color motion picture game. So it is phenomenal to have another option. But if you're looking for the image that this ORWO film gives you, then go with that stock. It could be perfect for the story that you're trying to tell. Regardless, I love 16mm, and I am jonesing to shoot more. I actually have 2 more spools, one of each stock. So you better believe this won't be the last time you catch me slinging some 16 ORWO on this channel. But until that time, go shoot some film, regardless of the format. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Okay, bye!